Hello, I'm Hal Ottaway with the Wichita Postcard Club, and it's time once again for a postcard of the week. This week, I want to show you one that I bought at the Wichita Postcard Club show just about a month ago from Dennis Gorham. A dealer friend of mine from Utah was here again. This is a novelty postcard. It's made of wood and it's about, not quite, but about a quarter of an inch thick. So it has a little bit of presence and substance. I don't think it would be a friend of the post office and they would clap their hands and be joyous to have it go through their machinery. I don't think they would like that or want that at all. But it did used to go through hand canceling at post offices, and so they do show up from time to time being postally used and having gone through the mail. Sometimes things like this were also enclosed in an envelope, and then that was mailed. And so that is why some of them have cancellations on them and some of them don't. This was made by a Dixie Novelty Company in Asheville, North Carolina. And we have kind of over the years put together a checklist of comic postcards from World War II. And this is one that I still needed and is fun to have acquired at the show. I have, I think, about 30 some of these, and I'm still lacking two or three others to kind of fill my set out and to say that I have them all. But you know how it is with postcard collecting. You think you have it, and then you learn something else. But that's the joy of being with other collectors and dealers and talking and exchanging information and all of that. This postcard, let me just tell you a little bit about it. It's Unconditional Surrender, and it shows this GI with the rifle on his shoulder, and extending from the end of the rifle is this bayonet that holds Adolf Hitler from Germany, Hirohito from Japan, and Mussolini from Italy. All of these bad guys, or the Axis, they were the Axis, and we were the Allies. Russia and Great Britain and United States, and lots of others too. But those were the main ones who were fighting World War II at this time. There was a conference, an early conference. Let's review quickly that we entered World War II, which had already been going on a couple of years in Europe, but we entered it when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, and that was on December 7th, 1941. Then there was the North African invasion, and then in January 1943, two of the leaders, President Franklin Roosevelt from USA and Sir Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of Great Britain, met in Casablanca in north western part of Morocco, which is all North Africa. And they had a conference that lasted for several days. And they came out of that conference and said that this unconditional surrender was what they were looking for from that point onward when they were talking about an allied European strategy. And that would be where they were going to go from North Africa and to try to defeat Adolf Hitler in Europe. But this card, we have the Casablanca Conference in January 1943. And so we know from history now that since Mussolini is on the end of this bayonet, he was still in power in Italy. But then he lost that power and lost everything in July, that same year, 1943. So we can say that this probably dates from January to July 1943. And that's interesting to note because after that, there were two Axis powers that we were trying to defeat, Hitler and Japan, Hirohito in Japan. So we see other comic postcards where Hitler's face would be there with Hirohito, and then Mussolini will have a big X in it. And so it's like checking him off and then, going ahead and fighting this war that for freedom. This is an interesting card. It's part of this big series that I told you about, and I'm glad to have added to my own collection and all part of being at the Wichita Postcard Show this year. Thanks for being here, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye bye.